You can. Either the Yellow Mine HDPE or the new, the lockdown,
Going down a path we're trying to
PVC.
avoid.
I know.
Do we need a value on the Mink property tonight?
No, can't.
No? All right, sounds good. This is my question. Thank you. All right.
Keep you around.
5:30, we will call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Jen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Thill.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Mayor Lindsay.
Here. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under appearances and acknowledgments, acknowledge the proposed resolution 2017-17, necessity for sidewalk improvement 2018, and set a date of hearing. And Chad, would you want to address that, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just continuing the process, the last time you met and talked about the sidewalk 2018 project was October 30th, where you acknowledged the sidewalk committee's recommendations and to direct my office to proceed with the preparation of the proposed resolution. We've done so. That is in the packet here. There's 11 properties that the sidewalk committee essentially recommended and that you reviewed initially on the 30th. And so today you're just acknowledging the resolution and setting a date of hearing. And then at that time there'll be a hearing where landowners will receive notice prior to the hearing of said hearing to come and discuss any questions or concerns about that process. And at that point is when you decide if that's what those areas are areas where you'd like to pursue follow through with installing sidewalks in 2018.
When are you thinking the hearing will be?
The hearing would be December 18th.
I'll make a motion that we acknowledge proposed resolution number 2017-17, necessity for sidewalk improvement 2018, and set the date of hearing for December 18th, if the lights stay on, at 5:35 p.m.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anything anyone wants removed from the consent calendar?
Make a motion, we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under old business, second reading of ordinance number 1599, vicious or biting dogs. And again, I'll just speak on this one here. The only thing that has changed on here is the addition of G at the end of the ordinance, which allows two people in that to make a determination on a vicious dog, and that for its where it would be determined how to best take care of that animal. So, is there anyone here that, yes? Would you come forward to the microphone, please? And
excuse my hair.
No, that's fine.
I tried to go to Nunda and turned around.
Oh.
I am Deb Blanchett. I think everybody knows me.
Okay.
My father was probably the first dog bite victim in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It was a neighbor's dog that got over the fence. He did not provoke it in any way. He did not do anything. It was a horrendous experience for him and all of us. And I agree with what you're doing. There needs to be, because this girl wanted that dog back. She was going to put it back in that backyard again. We had been watching that dog for several months. We had expressed our concerns to her about that dog. There was kids that walked through that alley every day after school. That Monday, when my dad got attacked by that dog, it had already bitten somebody Friday night, and previously, the week before that, it had bitten a child that stuck its hands in through the fence being this high. My grandpa always said, pets are like people, a product of their raise. That dog had been abused in the 2 families it had been with. I received messages after this. Almost Home had gotten that dog and then adopted it to this family. I was going to bring my dad down here tonight. We totally agree with getting 2 signatures because through all that medical stuff, and I don't know if she had to pay the city anything for the 10 days that dog had to be held on for rabies bite. They had to have, when they did an x-ray of my father's arm, they'd seen 2 white things there, so they had to have a vet go out and examine the dog's mouth and see if there was teeth missing, which they determined that the dog's mouth was clean, but it could have been baby teeth that are now stuck permanently in his arm. The surgeon said we can't go in after those. We can't risk infection. And if anybody, I know you've seen a dog bite, they can't do anything. It has to heal from the inside out. So this is a painful thing for somebody to go through. There has to be some way to make these people responsible for the choices that they're making. This girl got, I have everything here, she got a $60 fine. She paid my dad back $63 for his out-of-pocket, the Band-Aids and stuff. I'm still thinking Medicare is going to come back and say, whoa, wait a minute, we didn't do this. And that's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars of medical expenses. So I agree with this. You need to make the procedure faster. You need to make this procedure done. Do not give them, because we sat there thinking she was going to bring that dog back. She stood in front of the judge and said she wanted to take the dog back, but she could not afford to do what the city would then ask her to do with this dog. So if that's the case, I mean, if she were to get that dog back, how would you monitor that dog? I mean, you're asking her to raise the fence, that the dog has to be muzzled when it's out there. There has to be a person of 18 years or older out there at all times. I mean, who's going to watch? How do you watch it? Who's going to be next?
Well, and, you know, as I've said before, all dogs bite.
They do.
It's the difference that we're addressing here.
And I'm not,
and as
and
you're
I'm not
well
even
aware,
saying.
and that, you know, I think it's going on 6 years ago now. My wife
Yep.
was viciously
Yep.
attacked. And so, and then here just recently in that we had another man who was attacked viciously. So this hopefully will address our
It has to be
ability
addressed.
to make the decision in that, you know, for any vicious attack that occurs in the future.
And that dog had been, that dog had been on Facebook. It kept running away from the other people, and there was a scuttle on Facebook. And she went on Facebook that day and posted, "My dog ran away. If anybody sees him, call me." So we're out at the ER with my father, and I got on there and said, "If you see that dog, you call 911. There is no call her."
You know,
But-
and that's one of the things, Public Safety Commissioner side of it, that having this in place, you know, and I don't know anything about your situation or the background of it or nothing, but if what you're saying is that this dog bit or attacked somebody on a Friday and this happened on a
Monday.
Sunday or a Monday.
Monday
okay.
morning.
You know, hopefully what we're doing with
It's
this
gonna
ordinance
stop
is
that.
going to stop that, and it would have been stopped then on Friday. So that's my hope, is that, you know, moving forward, it is a much safer and meaningful way to take care of this.
Because they also,
Thank
that
you.
afternoon, they had, that dog ran away. While we were in there treating my father, that dog took off. So I think they, if I remember right, they had the sheriff's office, the police department, they had search and rescue, they had everybody looking for that dog because that dog was in the area of schools. And so that turned into be quite the thing, and then somebody seen my post on Facebook on Recycle Path, and he got the dog into a cage. But there has to be some way, you know, my grandpa always said too, wants to get the taste of blood. You know, that was our fear, is that dog gonna go catch some child coming home from school? And I realize that it's not your, you know, it's not your responsibility to do this, but it's somebody's responsibility to make sure that that animal is taken care of.
Well, and that's what we hope G will give us the opportunity to make a decision in a vicious dog attack, no question.
And I'm not even gonna say what kind of dog that was, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Any dog will do
Yes.
that. That dog just happens to be a breed that can hold on and do a lot more damage in a shorter period of time. But any dog could do that. So we appreciate the fact that you're trying to do something to make that a shorter period, because my dad was afraid that dog was coming back to his backyard.
Yep. Nope, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. I'll make a motion that we approve the second reading of ordinance number 1599 for vicious and biting dogs.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. New business, authorize the mayor to sign the employer subscription agreement with the Health Pool of South Dakota, 2018 health and life insurance renewal. And I'm going to ask Jen if she'd like to address that one.
I will. After several requests, the Health Pool of South Dakota agreed to change their plan year from the normal July to June to now calendar year, primarily because we are now offering HSAs, and it's just easier to plan and to budget for those HSAs if you're operating on the same year. Okay, so you did just see this 6 months ago. Again, because of the short plan year, it is in front of you again this evening for 2018, January through December. And this will maintain our current plan, which is Plan C, $1,000 single deductible, $2,000 family deductible.
One question in that, with the change, typically in that there is an increase, in after a year. Is there an increase for January 1?
There is not,
that goes with?
no rate increase.
No rate increase, so it will continue for the next 12 months, no rate increase on that.
Correct. We did have a rate increase
Very good.
effective July 1st. I think that was 3%, 3.5%. But yes, no rate increase.
So then they'll carry that basically now through till
Correct.
December. Okay,
Correct.
very good. Other questions or comments? None, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the employer's health pool of South Dakota 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Authorize the mayor to sign the proposal with Banner Associates Engineering Services for high-performance coatings. Chad, do you want to address that one?
Sure, I can say a few words. I
Okay.
talked with Rick Hybert earlier today. He couldn't be here, but he gave you some additional information. He had been coordinating with Banner Associates prior to budget time, and then during budget, about that time, I was also started talking with him as well about this process for coating of clarifiers at the water treatment plant and at the wastewater facility. There's both pieces of the clarified equipment in the water treatment plant are being coated with this, and then the primary clarifier in the sewer plant. That's the anticipated plan for this is to bid this and allow the contractor as much flexibility as possible to be able to fit it within his schedule, hopefully to receive one mobilization here, but that's up to the contractors how they do that. So what this in 1996, the water plant was constructed, and that's when the original equipment came online. Rick had indicated they often take the clarifiers down and bring them back up and apply patchwork coating themselves. But in some of our recent inspections, they found that some of the material at the cross section of the structure itself was jeopardized, if you will. So they may have some repairs to the structure of the clarifier itself at the same time when they do the coating. And they thought now is the time, if it's been that long since this has been installed. And then as far as the sewer clarifier, it's a stainless system done in 09, but he had indicated there was some poor condition structural elements in the where the stagnant sludge is, and so that would need to be thought it was an appropriate time to do all of these three of them at one time, and try to mobilize one contractor here with one larger set of bidding documents. They'll completely sandblast and recoat the entire structure. That's what the plan would be for this. Potentially some of the work to happen earlier in the spring or late winter. This was included in the budget process. There's $300,000 in the budget process, including this effort. So with that, and I don't know if Commissioner Corbin has anything to add, yet I believe Mr. Corbin has talked with Rick as well,
Right.
of course, during the budget process and otherwise about this, but that's all I would submit at this time. I recommend proceeding.
If you guys recall, we painted both water towers a few years ago, and we hired Banner to oversee that process to ensure that the surfaces were prepared and sometimes these coatings can fall off, and I mean, they make it look nice, but they also act to protect these assets, and these clarifiers are in a much harsher environment than the towers, especially the wastewater ones, so we want to make sure that whoever's putting this stuff on is doing it correctly, and the people that are overseeing this at Banner are experts in coating. This is what they do. So it's kind of a unique situation, but we want to make sure that we get what we pay for. That's why we're bringing Banner on.
And it's kind of hopeful in that they can do it in the winter and early spring, and that when we're at our lowest usage levels.
Right, that's, planning for maintenance instead of waiting till they break and having
Exactly.
an emergency.
You don't have the knowledge on this, Chad, or what,
No,
to
not-
save the $41,000?
I am not a NACE certified coating inspector, nor do I have any experience in coatings in detail. Timing would be a challenge as well to do that.
And it's also surface preparation. It's kind of like if you're going to get your car painted.
Right.
You know, if you don't prep it right, you can be driving down the road and all of a sudden the wind will blow it all off. So,
And
here
well, it's
where they're-
especially important with these clarifiers.
because of all the chemicals and that they have
They're
to
a
deal
very
with all
harsh
the time.
environment,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I just hate to see us keep hiring these engineers when we have 3 of them setting up there or not setting up there, but working for the city taxpayers. I just have a hard time sitting there farming more stuff out.
We don't have a coding specialist on staff, Bob, so that's why we're hiring this one out. With that, I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign proposal Banner Associates for engineering service for high-performance coatings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Did you have a
Oh,
question?
sorry.
I think it's important, significant to know that we don't have 3 engineers. We have a certified engineer, 2 assistants. If they aren't full-time certified, they aren't engineers. They traditionally think of things, and it's been said before, and I think that's misleading to the public. So it's like you have nurses and you have nurses' aides. Now, I'm not trying to, that's maybe a poor analogy, and Chad, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, these guys don't have the 2 guys do a great job for us, but they don't have the same certification and training that Chad has. So to say we have 3 engineers there is really misleading.
Okay,
It's been said before.
3 personnel up there then.
Yes, we do.
Okay. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, declare as surplus property and appoint appraisers to the Wink property. Chad, would you want to address that one?
Yes. I've been coordinating with Mr. Jenks and the mayor to prepare, to proceed, as my understanding is the commission's desire is to part ways with the Wink property now that the demolition is complete. We will be issuing a payment, the next round of bills to Reining Construction, who has completed that work and achieved substantial completion. So the next step to dispose of the property would be this, and I would defer to David too to elaborate as he gets into several different legal components as well.
I really don't have much to add other than if the city's intention is to attempt to sell this, it must be declared surplus first and then appraised by, there's various ways to appraise this. An appraiser can be hired, or 3 real property owners within the city of Madison can also appraise the property. One little nuance to the law is that we can only accept 90% of the appraised value of the property at a sale. That's if you're wondering, well, why do we need to appraise it? That's why. we need to have a good faith appraisal and then accept 90%, no less than 90% of that amount of the auction. So we're following some pretty clear statutory steps here. The legislature has told us how we have to sell property, and this is how we need to do it.
So if it's appraised at $100,000, we can't accept anything less than 90.
We cannot accept 89, that's right.
Thank you.
We could accept 90. Now, we have the right to reject that. We could reject any and all bids, but we cannot accept a bid less than 90% of the appraised value.
Thank you.
And the intent, when we started on this property was to remove a safety hazard. We had a building that was, Mother Nature was reclaiming it. We also had a facility in that had a lot of dangerous areas, and it was a building that was extremely difficult to keep people out of. And as we know, in that we had had incidents in the past that our police had to respond to. We've had incidents in the past where people got up there, did damage to neighboring businesses. So it was the proper time and place. It had served a good purpose during the years it was in operation, but it was time and place in that to make that property safer. But it was also not my intent as mayor for it to be a property that the city needed to continue to maintain. So putting it up for sale, giving the public the opportunity to purchase it and create something new for the future is my intent.
I'll make a motion that we declare a surplus property and appoint the appraisers of Mayor Roy Lindsay, Mr. Brad Lawrence, and Chad Combs for the Wink property.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, authorize the sale of real property by public auction.
It feels redundant, but the statutory steps require first a declaration of surplus and then a motion of intent to sell. So you're kind of doubling up here. It feels that way, but I want to make sure we follow the law, and that's why the agenda was set the way that it is.
We like to follow the law.
I'd like you to.
And authorizing it at public auction gives everybody an opportunity to be there, see who the buyers are, see the property sold, and bid on the property if they have an interest in it. So authorizing it for sale by public auction will typically also give everybody the opportunity to bring the highest dollar value back to the city and back to the taxpayers.
I'll make a motion, we authorize the sale of the real estate property by public auction. What day?
I don't know that we have a date yet, because we would have to find out what dates would be available from the auctioneers. So we don't need to set a date on it.
Bob's made a motion to sell this by public auction.
Yes.
And we just need a second and a vote on it.
Yes.
But we do not have to set a date.
Right.
Thank you.
Point of clarification, if I may, though, you said state property and it's not state property. Just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Did I say- Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
I think you just meant real estate, Bob.
Exactly.
This is state law.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 5, authorize the mayor to sign the platting of the 2nd Street addition. And Chad, I'm going to ask you if you would want to address that one.
Yes, thank you. Typically, you see plats come where you approve the plat, and indeed, that is the next item on the agenda after this one. But this item actually is to authorize the replatting of the property into this legal description. Maybe I should say that differently. This is to consent to say you as a commission want to replat this, and you're authorizing the mayor to sign that as the owner, in the location where it says owner's certificate. And so by doing that, you're creating a new legal description, lots 1 and 2 of 2nd Street addition. And so my understanding was the desire to proceed with this, lots 1 and 2. to clean up the legal description from kind of a hodgepodge that was there before.
Yeah, there are probably multiple reasons for this. From my perspective, from a legal perspective, these properties were acquired over time, and they were acquired before the modern property description system, and we kind of have a mess. It's not a problematic mess, but describing the properties is not particularly easy. This plat, I think, in map form clarifies that. It also gives us legal descriptions from which to transfer the property, which us as the seller, I'm going to appreciate, and I know a buyer will as well.
Cleans it up.
It does.
From my perspective, this is largely a cleanup.
I'll make a motion we authorize the mayor to sign plating of Second Street Edition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution number 2017-18, approve a plat, Second Street Edition. Again, I'll ask Chad if you want to briefly describe that.
Yes, thank you. This is the actual approval of the plat itself.
Mhm.
As if, another landowner would come and bring forth a replatting and such like that. You're actually, in your role as the commission, approving the plat.
As the owner.
As, yes.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution number 2017-18, approve a plat for the Second Street Edition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 7, resolution number 2017-16, establish employee compensation for 2018. Jen, would you like to address that?
I can. You have in front of you a 9-page salary resolution that will cover year 2018. If I may first draw your attention to page 1, the last paragraph there, stating that the step and grade scale was adjusted by 1.5%. And it goes on to state that with the approval of the department head, employees will advance 1 step down the grade or get an additional 1.5%. So a total of 3% increase for year 2018. Pages 2 through 9 were heavily discussed in the last couple weeks of executive session. We have had a handful of grade changes that are reflected in here. We also adjusted the city's contribution to the health insurance and dental insurance premiums. Also increased the wellness benefit. Instead of $2.50 bi-weekly, it has been suggestively moved that to $10 bi-weekly, and that is if the employee is a member of the community center or local fitness center. The employee must be the member, not just a family member. Short of going through each of these pages, I think we're all familiar with this. Any questions, any comments?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2017-16, establish employee compensation for 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Number 8, bid number 866, review specifications and set bid date for chemicals. Chad,
Yes, thank you.
do you want to address this one?
Coordinating with Rick Nyberg, plant foreman, about securing bids for the chemicals used at the water plant. And so, once you authorize advertising, we'll send these notices out to our typical suppliers and proceed to open those bids on the 20th of December to get those contracts in line, if you will, before the end of the year.
I'll make a motion to approve bid number 866, review specifications, set a bid date for December 20th at 10 a.m. Right?
Yep.
For chemicals. Thank you.
Got it.
Second.
Correct.
I guess I should have wrote it down.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no announcements, no executive session, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Excuse me.